Welcome to Styla Pattern Sew Along. Tahoe is a shacket pattern with many versatile options and variations to customize your entire look. Seam allowances will be 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter seam allowance, unless stated otherwise. Let's get started. Locate the placket pieces. Fold in half lengthwise with wrong sides together. Press to create a memory crease. Unfold the memory crease and fold the raw edges toward the center, aligning them with the memory crease. Press this. Fold in half again and closing the raw edges. Press and repeat for the other placket. Locate the hem facing pieces. Place the front facing pieces on top of the back, right sides together. Sew to attach. Press the seam allowances toward the front facing pieces. Press the top raw edge 1/4 of an inch or 0.6 centimeters wrong sides together. With the right side of the facing face down and the memory crease folded, apply double-sided hem tape to the folded edge, starting and stopping 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeters from each end. With the right side facing up, unfold the memory crease. Fold the short end 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeters right sides together. Sew along the memory crease on the folded 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter portion. Trim away the folded portion above the seam. This is a very small piece. Fold the memory crease right sides together, turn right side out, and press. From the wrong side of the facing, tack the bottom raw edge in place. Before beginning, be sure the rectangle has been transferred from the sleeve placket pattern piece. Press the outside edges and triangular top edges 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters wrong sides together. Apply double-sided hem tape to the folded edges. Place the main and lining wrong sides together and pin around the edges to hold in place. The main and lining will be treated as one for the following steps. Place the sleeve lining side up. The sleeve should be a mirror image set. Place the placket right side down on the sleeve. Align the center of the rectangle to the notch on the bottom of the sleeve. Pin to hold in place and sew around the rectangle with a reduced stitch length. Carefully cut up the center of the placket and into the corners. Do not cut through the seams. Turn the sleeve over and pull the placket through to the main side. Fold the shorter, folded edge over to just cover the seam. Press and secure with the hem tape. If hem tape was not used, pin to hold in place. Edge stitch along the folded edge to secure. Fold the other side of the placket to cover the other seam. Press and secure with hem tape. If hem tape was not used, pin to hold in place. Place a pin directly above the horizontal seam. This will be the starting point for the remainder of the stitching. Edge stitch around the placket. Shift the bottom placket out of the way so it does not get caught in the seam. Unpin and separate the main and lining. The sleeves will still be connected by the placket. Fold the sleeve lining in half right sides together. Sew the raw, straight edges. Turn the sleeve right side out and repeat for the second sleeve. Locate the button sleeve cuffs. Fold the bottom raw edges 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeters wrong sides together and press. Unfold the memory creases and place the lining on top of the main. Sew to attach on each side. Press the seam allowances toward the lining. Refold the memory crease and press. Apply double-sided hem tape to the folded edge of the cuff lining. With raw edges facing away from the sleeve, slide the sleeve into the cuff. With right sides together, align the cuff main to the sleeve main. The ends of the cuff will align with the edges of the placket. Pin or clip to hold in place. Baste in place with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Align the raw edges of the cuff lining with the sleeve and cuff main. It is touching the right side of the sleeve lining. Pin or clip to hold in place with the sleeve sandwiched between the cuff main and lining. Sew to secure. Clip the corners and fold the cuff down. Press the cuff. Align the memory creases. Edge stitch around the entire edge of the cuff. Apply 2 buttons or snaps to the cuff. Locate the collar pieces. Place the collar pieces right sides together. If desired, pin or clip in place, and sew along the sides and top straight edge with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Clip the corners and turn the collar right side out. Press the collar. Sew a basting stitch along the bottom raw edge of the collar with a 1/4 inch or 0.3 centimeter seam allowance. Top stitch the 3 finished edges with a 1/8 inch or 0.3 centimeter seam allowance if desired. Locate the hood band and press in half wrong sides together to create a memory crease. Sew to secure the raw edge with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Place the hood pieces right sides together. If desired, pin or clip to hold in place. Starting at the top of the hood and ending at the bottom, sew along the curve with a 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter seam allowance. Press the seam allowances open. Top stitch the seam allowance to the hood with a 3/8 inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance. Locate the hood band and place it right sides together with the hood. Align the center of the band to the center seam of the hood and the ends of the band to the ends of the hood. Pin and clip in place to hold. Sew to attach with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Locate the hood lining and place it on the main right sides together. The right side of the lining is touching the wrong side of the band. Make sure the center seams are aligned. The hood band will be sandwiched between the hood, main, and lining. Pin or clip to hold in place, and sew to attach. Trim the seam allowance and turn the hood right side out. Align the raw edges and baste the main and lining together with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. If desired, top stitch along the hood or band seam with a 3/8 inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance. Fold the finished edge of the pocket 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeters right side together. Sew around the raw edges of the pocket with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Turn the top right side out. Using the stitch line as a guide, press the raw edges of the pocket wrong sides together. If desired, sew along the finished edge to secure the top hem. Apply double-sided hem tape to the side and bottom edges. Locate the pocket flap pieces. With right sides together, place the main piece on top of the lining piece. Sew around the sides and bottom of the pocket flap with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Clip the curves or corners of the pocket flaps. Turn right side out and press. If desired, edge stitch around the sewn edges of the pocket flaps. Add your buttons or snaps. Locate the front, bottom, bodice, main piece. Ensure the pocket placement notches have been transferred from the pattern piece. Align the pocket with the marks and place it 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters below the top raw edge of the bodice. If hem tape was not used, pin the pocket in place. Edge stitch the pocket to the bodice. Align the pocket flap with the pocket placement notches. Sew to attach with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Locate all the front main bodice pieces. Place the top and bottom pieces right sides together. Pin or clip to hold into place and sew to attach. Press the seam allowances toward the top. Top stitch the seam allowance to the top bodice piece with 2 rows of stitching. Locate the locker loop. Fold in half and press. Unfold the memory crease and fold the raw edges toward the center and press. Fold in half again, enclosing the raw edges. Edge stitch to secure. Place the edges of the locker loop 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters away from the center of the back bottom bodice. Sew to attach with a 3/8 inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance. Locate the top and bottom back main bodice pieces. Pin or clip to hold in place and sew to attach. Press the seam allowance toward the top. Top stitch the seam allowance to the top bodice piece with 2 rows of stitching. With the back main bodice piece right side up, lay the front bodice pieces on top with right sides together. Align the shoulders and sides, and then sew to attach. Repeat this step for the bodice lining pieces. Press all the seam allowances toward the back. Top stitch the seam allowances to the back bodice piece with 2 rows of stitch. Repeat these steps with the lining, but press the seam allowances toward the front. Locate the main bodice and placket pieces. Place the bodice right side up. Unfold the placket memory creases and place it right sides together with the bodice. Sew to attach along the memory crease, and repeat for the other side of the bodice with the second placket. Trim the placket seam allowance to 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters and press the placket away from the bodice. Locate the bodice lining and place it right side up. Place the main bodice on top, align the placket to the edge of the front bodice lining, and pin or clip to hold in place. Sew to attach along the memory crease, and repeat for the other side. Trim the placket seam allowance to 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Place a mark 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeters down from the neckline on the sewn edge of the placket. Repeat for the other side. Locate the prepared collar. Place the bodice with the main facing up. With right sides together, align the ends of the collar with the sewn edge of the placket. The collar is angled, so it will be placed slightly different. The edge will align with the previously made mark and angle down toward the shoulder. Pin in place and base the collar with a 3/8 inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance. Repeat these same steps to add the hood on top of the collar. Fold the placket right sides together and align the placket seams. Pin or clip to hold in place, and repeat on the other side. The bodice seam allowances will be folded toward the placket. Align the lining neckline to the main neckline. The collar and hood is sandwiched between the main and lining. Pin to hold in place, and sew the entire neckline from edge to one placket to the edge of the other. Trim the seam allowances and clip the curves. Apply double-sided hem tape to the bodice main seam allowances along the placket seam line. Repeat on the other side. Turn the bodice right side out and remove the paper from the hem tape. Fold the main over to meet the lining and align the sewn edges of the placket. Turn the bodice right side out and edge stitch along the placket seam lines to secure. If desired, edge stitch the other vertical edge to the placket or completely around the whole placket. Repeat for the other side. Turn the bodice wrong side out. Separate the lining from the main of both the bodice and sleeve. With the sleeve right side out, slide it into the main bodice. Pin or clip the sleeve into the armscye. Make sure the shoulder notch is matched to the shoulder seam, and that the front and back sleeve notches are matched to the front and back bodice seams. Sew to attach. Reach in the sleeve and pull it all the way through. Both the main and lining will now be wrong side out. Fold the sleeve lining right side out at the armscye. make sure the sleeve does not get twisted and bring it around to meet the arm side of the lining. Slide the sleeve lining into the arm side. Pin or clip the sleeve to the arm side. Make sure the shoulder notch is matched to the shoulder seam and the front and back sleeve notches are matched to the front and back bodice notches. Sew around the whole arm side. Trim the seam allowances. Bring the main and lining seam allowances together, matching them at the shoulder seam. Make sure the arm side seams are aligned. Sew directly on top of the seam for 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters in both directions from the shoulder seam. Turn right side out. Align the bottom edges of the bodice main and lining. Pin or clip to hold in place. Baste the layers together with a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Place the bodice right side up and locate the prepared hem facing. Align the bottom raw edge of the hem facing with the bottom raw edge of the bodice. Pin or clip to hold in place. Align the ends of the hem facing with the ends of the plackets. The side seams of the facing will align with the side seams of the bodice. Sew to attach. Trim the seam allowance to 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters, and then press the facing away from the bodice and edge stitch the seam allowance to the facing. With the right side of the bodice facing down, press the hem facing toward the bodice lining. Secure with the double-sided hem tape. If double-sided hem tape was not used, pin to hold in place. Edge stitch the top folded edge of the facing to secure. The hem facing will only be visible from the inside of the garment. Turn right side out and press the whole garment and add snaps or buttons as desired. Thank you for sewing along with us at Styla Patterns, and we'll see you next time.